Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of Buckeye BS. Mike, I say good morning, but it's not. How you doing today?
Man, I'm making it, man. Hey, everybody always want to say we don't stand in the paint, but here we are, bright and early, standing in the paint this morning.
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like we're standing in the shit after what we watched yesterday. A brutal loss for the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes fall to the Oregon Ducks 32-31 and receive their first Big Ten loss of the season. I was on you did a post game last night and are much more professional than I and hopped right on immediately after for an instant reaction. I had to sit on my couch in silence for 10 minutes to gather myself before I could, put my hat back on and get in front of the cameras. If you missed our post games yesterday, if you want to see our instant distraught, you can see Mike on the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. He did a post game there. I was on the Juck on Bucks post game show with Chris and Juck yesterday on the Menace platform. So if you missed that, be sure to check that out. A big shout out to Posh, one of the members in the chat, always supporting. Before we get going here, we got to give a shout out to our guy, Doug Shepard, first one in the chat. And of course, a shout out to our guy, Charles, another member in here. Bright and early. Mike, we got a super chat to get to nice and early. Need to see a meme of Burke as Apollo Creed, Knowles as Rocky, and the ball trainer yelling, throw in the damn towel. I mean, Mike, we might as well start right there.
Yeah, I mean, we can start right there. Here's the thing, man. I know I see a lot of people blaming Knowles, but I mean, if you actually go back and watch, I felt like Knowles had the right play call. You don't account for your cornerback one, right? You don't account for him getting burnt over and over. DBs, if you're one of the elite DBs, right, you give up a play here and there, but they counted Denzel Burke as the mark. I would say if you want to criticize Jim Knowles, being the head coach of the defense, why not say, hey, today's just not Burke's day. Let's put in Jermaine Matthews. I mean, for some reason, I see everybody saying free Jermaine. Like, for some reason, it's like Jermaine Matthews only gets in there when guys are out or guys can't play, and we trust him then. And he always balls out. He doesn't get exposed or anything like that, really. And then in this game, we don't even trust him. I think that kind of said a lot and sent shockwaves throughout the national narrative, because I mean, I even saw recruits tweeting about it like, dang, you don't even trust your freshman All-American?
Yeah, it's crazy to see. I mean, we've been talking about Jermaine Matthews is the best coverage corner on this roster since he got to Columbus, and it feels like he still is. And to see him not take a snap in yesterday's game, completely inexcusable. I'm sure we will hammer that later. I do want to explain the concept of today's show. We are doing a call-in show. The link is available on the Best Damn Media Twitter at Best Damn Media. It's pinned to the top. If you find the live stream on Twitter, it is pinned under that tweet if you want to call in. It is also in the bio. There's a link in the bio if you want to call into the show. If you have questions or comments about yesterday's show, I'm sure there's trolls that have plenty of shit to say. The line is there. So, yeah, reach out and we'll bring you up and get to your questions. A big shout out to our guy, Ohio Refugee, for the 10. And, yeah, man, I'm sure there is going to be plenty of memes on the timeline regarding this game. So don't you worry about that. Another super chat shout out to our guy Mike Green. Thanks for the 2. Bro, I'm mad as fuck starting this off. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, I was on the post game yesterday, and there was a couple times where I was just sitting there like, I really don't have words for what I saw yesterday. Yeah. The level of frustration. I mean, we talked about the number 20 or the number 17 all last year, and then thought that this defense improved so much that we might even be able to lower that number to the amount of points this offense needs to score to win any game with how good this defense is. And you see Oregon in week 7 put up 32 points on this Buckeye defense that we were so hyped about. And if anyone had, if you're talking about concerns on this defense, man, I'd challenge someone to find an episode where we said anything about being concerned about these corners. We bought the hype. We were bought in. And when we did criticize the corners, we were worried about Jordan Hancock in the slot and Davis Igbinosun on the outside holding people. I feel like Iggy had a better game than usual, and to see Denzel struggle like that, man, it hurt. It hurt to watch.
Yeah, it definitely hurt to watch. And here's the thing: we talked about this during the week. All the scouts was at the game. They said that the scouting area where the scouts sit was packed to the brim with scouts. This was a money game. I don't know. Some people were saying, hey, Burke had to have been hurt out there. If he's hurt, why would you put him out there when you got another guy? Like you said, bro, this is unexplainable. I can't explain this. I don't think that your defensive coordinator goes into the game and the guy that's supposed to be his cornerback one is getting burnt. But it kind of makes me wonder about why Jermaine kept putting out all of those subliminals and then deleting it. Like, was he seeing this? Was he forecasting this? And we just wasn't catching on?
Yeah, man, it hurts to see. Thanks, Mike, for the 2. We got to get to another super chat. Still on the same subject. Shout out to Ryan Reed. Thanks for the 20. Good morning, fellas. What the fuck going on with Denzel Burke? He didn't look like himself. I was at the game. He was getting cooked. Where's Matthews at? That seemed to be the theme of the timeline last night. Everybody, we used to make jokes all the time. Like, we have the best secondary in the country and our best corner doesn't play. At this, to not see a single snap, Mike, what could you possibly come up with for a reason for him not to see a single snap yesterday?
There is no excuse. We saw in those first year, Josh Proctor go and miss a tackle. Didn't get burnt. He missed a tackle. And we didn't see that man for about 5 games, right? So we heard about, hey, if a guy does this, or if he fumbles, hey, we make them do that. It's a punishment. You get a penalty. It's a punishment. You give up an explosive. It's a punishment. And it just, where was the punishment? At least sit the guy down. Let him regather his thoughts. Something. You got to do something to stop the bleeding. We've had Garyon Conley on here a couple times, and he just talked about in 2014. Like, he wasn't even a senior. Denzel Burke is a senior, so I have no excuse to this. But Garyon Conley wasn't even a senior. I want to say he was like a sophomore, and Michigan State kept going at him. But you know what the coaches did? They said, hey, we're going to have to go and put Eli out there or whatever to stop the bleeding. And what did Eli do? Stop the bleeding. Sometimes it just be like that. You don't allow the defense to find a fish and just keep picking on that fish.
Inexcusable. I have no words for it. I feel like that's my response to so many different things that we saw yesterday. Again, thank you, Ryan, for the 20. A shout out to our guy Mike Green. Thanks for the 5. No, I blame Knowles for not protecting him after the second cookout. How much is that on Knowles? Because we talked a lot about a number 3 that we don't say his name on this program anymore, where I had to apologize to him because we talked so much crap on him about how he shouldn't be playing, how he's not good, how he doesn't deserve to be on the field at Ohio State. And then I sat back and I said, it's not on him. He's coming here, putting in the work, doing his absolute best, doing what the coaches asked him to do, and they're putting him in a position to fail. It's not on him. Like, at some point, the coaches shouldn't be allowing him to have that opportunity to fail. And if he goes out there and does his best and fails, that's on coaching at that point. Once a player reveals to you who they are and what they're doing in that moment, if you continue to go with it, You can't put it on the player after so many times. And like Mike said, after the second cookout, you got to do something to protect your player. And we've seen it in years past where we've seen guys get put on the field that shouldn't be on there, getting cooked, and the fans are absolutely killing them, me included. And it got to a point where I was like, I cannot blame this player anymore. They're coming here. They're doing the workouts. They're putting in the film work. If they're giving their best effort on the field, if the coach is putting them out there and asking them to do something they're incapable of doing, it's on coaching at that point.
Yeah, I want to say this because I think that, and I have been talking about this, about our defense. And I think that this continues to come up, especially in the big games when the talent is equated or look at how many missed tackles we had in that game, right? And I've had a problem from the beginning from Jim Knowles sitting here saying, hey, we're not tackling in practice and things like that. Well, if practice is supposed to be just as hard as the game, if not harder, but you're not practicing tackling, you're seeing the effects of it. How many missed tackles did we have? Also, when you're practicing tackling, it also leads to a different physicality, a different mindset, right? We should have seen our dang on cornerbacks and stuff running through the face of those wide receivers that's trying to block them. We did not see that. And that comes from practicing, tackling. We don't do that. Another thing, like when we do get turnovers or things like that, like the Lathan Ransom, are y'all noticing how back in the day, like when we had the Malik Hookers, the Marshawn Lattimores, remember how they talked about how these guys worked on finding the lane and getting to the sideline, finding the lane. Guys knew who to block, things like that. Our guys are just running with the ball. Nobody's blocking anybody. Nobody's stopping anyone. Nobody's putting hands on anybody, finishing guys as well. That comes to in practice. We're not practicing the physical elements of football. And like my homie Cookie Monster said in the chat, bro, like she said, tackling was atrocious. And it's always been atrocious in our big games.
Yeah, the tackling was terrible. I do want to switch the focus to the offensive side of the ball for a moment. Will Howard, 28 of 35, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, adds another one on the ground. Travion Henderson, 87 yards on 10 carries. Quinshawn Judkins, 11 carries for 23 yards, 2.1 carry, a touchdown, and a fumble, along of 6. Jeremiah Smith also gets on the board with a touchdown, 9 catches for 100 yards, keeps his streak of a touchdown a game going, actually is one above 1 touchdown a game so far. Mike, what is your thoughts on the offense in this game? I talked a lot on the post game about it's crazy how a lot of people were frustrated that Will Howard wasn't able to come up with the moment at the end of the game yesterday. And I said, again, I don't blame him. Because that's not what he was paid $1 million to do. Because there's 300 people watching right now. Anyone that's been reading the beat, anyone that's been watching the press conferences, there were big headlines celebrating Will Howard doesn't have to be Superman. Then don't fucking get on here and be mad that you got Bruce Wayne. Like, no, you didn't get a superhero because you didn't pay $1 million for a superhero, and you acknowledge that. So when you lose and your $2.6 million defensive coordinator gives up 32 points, don't get on this app talking shit about the guy that you just said didn't need to be Superman. And then you were mad that he wasn't Superman. Like, I thought Will Howard did everything that Ohio State paid and asked him to do when he came to Ohio State. He used his legs in the red zone. He threw and kept our wide receivers in the game. Emeka Egbuka is still on pace to break the all-time receiving record despite having this quarterback that everyone told us wasn't capable when he got here. He didn't turn the ball over. How anyone could be frustrated with Will Howard, even despite the blunder at the end of the game, he should have never been in that position. And we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, facts, Ryan. I mean, here's the thing, like you said, and I am not blaming Will at all for this game, right? I mean, did he have mistakes? Yeah, but everybody has mistakes. But I'm not blaming Will. He played within his game, the game that they asked him to play, right? I can't blame him. Now, I remember going back in the beginning of the season, I said the only reason, everybody called me a Will hater and things like this. Now, you're seeing where, you want Ryan Day to push the ball down the field and all of this stuff, stretch the field vertically, but that's not in Will Howard's game, right? Now y'all mad about it. Here's the thing. Again, of course, there's going to be times when you are behind the sticks. Why? Because of a penalty, lost yardage, and things like that. When you had a Justin Fields, a Dwayne Haskins, a CJ Stroud, you didn't have to worry about it. You knew you could possibly pick up that first down because of how they made and they stressed the defense. The word stress the defense. And people was picking on me last night when I said, we don't have to stress Oregon's defense out. Where in their secondary did they have to be worried about the deep ball? JJ, wide open. If he was hitting stride, it could have been a touchdown. But he has to slow down every time and come back to the ball. And that is Will Howard. These are things that our coaches with their eyes saw on film before he got here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like bro signed $1 million NIL deal and then just stopped working out his right arm and his arm just got weak when he got here. Like, they knew exactly who he was. And I feel like Will executed the offense that they brought him here to run. And I was pleased with it. I think Travion Henderson ran the ball well. And I want to talk to you guys and the chat about the play calling early in the game, but we do have a ton of super chats. Mike, help me out with this name.
I don't even know what that says.
J8M3T. A few enough letters that I can just spell it out.
Right.
Shout out to you and thanks for the 20 over this D. No offense to Q, but AZ boys don't get it done. 44 misses assignments. Playing hero ball. We do get the pressure with 4 every game, like we're playing Marshall, missed tackles, and the clock management was awful. I mean, you talk about the clock management, Mike. Again, thanks for the 20. Appreciate the super chat. I mean, the missed assignments are unacceptable. The clock management being awful. I mean, we talked all offseason. Ryan Day has his mentor here. He has so much taken off of his plate. He has a CEO of the offense he has a head coach of the offense and a head coach of the defense, and he can take a CEO approach.
Right.
I mean, the clock management at the end, the lack of running, the fact that we didn't even get off an attempt at points at the end of the game, just horrific management as a whole. The onside kick. Did it feel like we got outcoached yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, think about it, man. There were definitely aspects. I thought that the game plan coming into this game was to get the running game established, and that's not what we came out and did. We started passing the ball, but we weren't passing the ball trying to make the defense, have to worry about, playing deep, right? I remember talking to Cam on the phone, and he was like, man, the first play we should do if we're going to throw the ball is throw the ball deep, right? Let them know, hey, we're going to take those type of shots. And we didn't show that. We said, hey, we're going to be dink and dunk. And that's what the defense was preparing for. And what you saw is those guys was able to come downhill. And like I said from the beginning, with this offense, with Will Howard, what you are asking our athletes to do is to catch short passes and get yak. Well, when the talent is equated and you have other athletes on there, and then they are able to make tackles in space, the short passes with the yak just doesn't work, man. And I mean, hey, I see, like our guy said, was talking about the AZ boys, man. I think that people underestimate the Ohio mentality, and then talking about 44 with the missed assignments. Again, people want to blame Jim Knowles, but you put JTT in the right situation. You don't expect your 4-year veteran who has seen just about every snap. I don't think JTT has missed a game, right? You don't expect him to sell like that. You just don't. Has he not watched Sam Hubbard tackle 2 guys in the backfield before? you have to make them and force the offense to make the decision, not force them to make the decision off what you're doing. You have to force that decision off of what you're doing. Like,
yeah, man. Overall frustrating. When I read that, I didn't even catch that he meant 44 missed assignments and he was speaking about JTT. I thought bro charted the game and counted missed assignments. Sorry, man. Forgive me.
It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Yeah.
I thought we had another Hall of Fame Twitter coach on the line again. Thanks. Thanks for the 20 J8 M3T. J8, I'm gonna call him J8 Met from now on. Thanks for
it might be J Met. J Met.
Maybe Jamate. Let us know in the chat. Spell your name phonetically in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out. We got another super chat before we get going or keep going. Yeah, I'm not running that fast. 20-minute show. Sorry, the Bucks stunk yesterday. We're out of here. Good talking to you. All right, shout out to our guy Mike Green. Thanks for the 2, bro. Our fans have to stop with the McCord shit.
I agree, man. They really do. Here's the thing. I think McCord, like Ron said, he's having a good season at Syracuse. Why is he having a good season? He doesn't have a lot of pressure on him. He doesn't have to worry about these things. He's out there. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder. He's the guy out there, right? He doesn't have to worry about anything. Also, he did go work with a quarterbacks coach, this offseason finally. So I guess that helped as well. But, I'm not putting this in the hands of Will Howard. Like I told you guys, I thought if we had to go to the transfer, if we had to go in the portal for a quarterback, I thought that said a lot about our quarterbacks that were recruited by Ryan Day. Will went out here and asked what did what he is able to execute, man. And I don't understand how people could be mad at him, upset at him. Here's the thing, man. When you get behind the chains, you have to have something on offense for that. And the thing is we don't really have a quarterback for 2nd and 25 or 3rd and 25. It's just like, I'm not going to lie to you. When we get behind those sticks, I'm just like, hey, I don't think that we can get it, right? I mean, I don't know how y'all felt in that game, but how did y'all feel like when we got behind the sticks multiple times in the game? Did y'all feel like, oh, we're about to get this?
So, no, I didn't. But the thing I want to talk about us getting behind the sticks. I talked on the Buckeye Roast. I talked on Bleacher Report. This noise was clearly a factor, and we've seen this become an issue for Ohio State tackles for years now, going all the way back to DeJuan Jones. We saw it be a factor again in this game. Tons of pre-snap penalties by the Buckeyes. Do you think this was a moment issue, or do you think this was the noise? Would you imagine there were less pre-snap penalties in a neutral site or home game?
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: the noise was definitely going to be a factor, but here's the thing: you practice that. G. Scott should have never got the false start. Why? Because you are taught in those environments, look at the ball. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Seth might have moved the ball a little bit that made him do that. But here's the thing. Sometimes, centers move the ball around, from left to right or whatever, or put it up, at an angle so that they get a better height. You know that. What are you doing? You are looking at the ball. You already know I am looking at the ball. So that should have never happened. But I definitely think that the sound played an effect. But I mean, I was on the Oregon voice of college football, and they were talking about it, and everybody was talking to me about the sound and how it is, even though it only holds 56,000. I think they went over capacity, going over 60,000 in that crowd. But yeah, I mean, it definitely plays a factor. There were people who said that place was louder than Penn State.
That's crazy to hear. We got another super chat from our guy, David Berner. Thanks for the 2. JTT didn't have QP. Ransom did. I believe he's talking about that Dylan Gabriel or the read option.
I feel like Ransom was too far back. Unless he was supposed to be coming downhill like really quickly. I don't know how he was supposed to have that. But hey, then that's another miscue, and shit. Here's the thing, man. The mistakes that we were seeing in this game, they weren't even coming from the young guys. That's the part that gets me. This wasn't James Peoples out there fumbling. That was Quinshawn Judkins, a 3-year starter. That wasn't
yeah, bro. I said I went to knock on wood during the Bleacher Report pregame, and maybe I cursed us. I said I'm worried about Will Howard protecting the football. We haven't seen Coach Locke's room put the ball on the ground all year, and they do it in the biggest game in one of the biggest moments early in the game. I mean, Quinshawn Judkins, 11 carries, 23 yards, 2.1 yards per carry. I mean, Travion Henderson was the man yesterday. I want to talk a little bit about the play calling early. Did it feel like the Buckeyes were a little too pass happy and didn't establish the run early enough in this game?
Big facts. Yeah, I was kind of talking about that earlier. I thought the game plan, you have to go in and wear them down, use the run game to your advantage. And you saw that at times we were able to run the ball. I think that some of the run plays got a little too cute when you saw the guys, like when you're giving the running back and he's able to like go downhill. I felt like that was some of our best runs, right? But the whole delay, counters, and stuff like that, it was giving their defense too much time to get through their blocks. It was giving them too much time. And I think our offensive line has to do a better job at blocking. And it also looked like with the injuries, guys going out, the chemistry was off as well. But I mean, Trey did a good job. I say in moments he could have done a better job, especially when he should have got that first down. And he kind of was acting like he was a wide receiver doing the finesse stuff. And I felt like, hey, Trey, you're a running back. Get your shoulder pads down and get some extra yards. But it is what it is, man. Trey did get 8.7 yards, had a 53 long run as well. And people have been saying Quinshawn Judkins, right? He was hurt. We've been hearing the rumors about his hand and things like that. Well,
Bullshit.
People were saying that
he was fine.
I don't. Yeah, people. Here was the thing. Someone tried to say like they attacked his the hand that's messed up, but when I seen people talking about his hand, it was his right hand. They attacked his left hand. And if he was hurt, why not have James People out there?
Or Travion Henderson, bro's running for 8 yards a carry.
Yeah, or keep Trey out there. I mean,
I got another super chat that I want to get to real quick. Shout out to our guy Thomas Ridley, an OG in the chat. We appreciate you. You've been supporting us for a while. Thanks for the 2 coaches lost this game again. It's on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can say that the coaches lost this game because, like we said, Denzel Burke should have been pulled. Wills Kazmarek should never have been out there. Hey, look like we got somebody on the call in, man. Hey, everybody start calling in, man. The call in link is in the description. Make sure y'all hit that.
It's in the description. It's under the tweets on the timeline. If you found it on Twitter, it's in the description on YouTube, and it is also pinned to the top of the Best Damn Media Twitter as well. So if you want to go to any of those places, if you got any questions, if you want to talk, we appreciate you calling in. We got our first caller on the line. Our guy, Terry T. Terry, how are you feeling on this gloomy Sunday morning after this Buckeye loss?
Hey, man. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm not feeling great, bro. That was rough, man. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I feel like I spent that whole entire game just thinking like Ohio State's about to take this game over and win it, and they just never did. They just kept making mistake after mistake. And, I mean, it's tough, man, because the problem is we're in a position where we've lost so many big games over the years that it's like every time one happens like this, it's like it's demoralizing. It sucks. It really sucks, dude.
It feels like the Jesse Pinkman meme. He can't keep getting away with this. Like Ryan Day can't keep getting away with making us feel like this. I mean, honestly, not feeling too bad this year because like I've like gotten comfortable being a loser. Like, getting our ass beat by Michigan 3 years, become conditioned to this. We lost embarrassing fashion to Oregon. I've seen this movie before. Like lost in the playoffs to Georgia, can't make a damn field goal. I feel like I've become conditioned to this. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe we have become conditioned to this, but I mean, I don't know. I'm lost for words, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand how this keeps happening.
Shout out to our guy Terry for the call. We get to our next caller. I know this guy's real name, but I'm not going to dox him, so we're going to call him Rex, a real Akron OG. Rex, how you doing?
Very bad.
I'm having a very bad day.
I just got one question for y'all fellas, man. Why can't Jim Knowles make the proper adjustments?
You make a good point because I don't like the fact that most of his adjustments come in the second half. But I mean, the biggest adjustment that needed to be made was putting out a cornerback that should have been playing, that should have been out there. I think Jermaine Matthews, somebody has said during the game or after the game, like, we don't have game changers out there on defense, but I think Jermaine Matthews is a game changer, right? So I think that was the adjustment, bro. You can't keep getting beat multiple times and being the fish. You gotta pull that fish out, leave them out, and put a new one in there, man.
Also,
I feel like it would be disingenuous to pretend like Jim Knowles didn't call a good defense. I mean, guys weren't like, it wasn't like guys were running free due to missed assignments. I mean, a lot of these were miscommunications on that bunch formation. And at some point, I mean, they had to have given them their assignments on that, and they were still getting beat. And it felt like it was mainly one person that could have been addressed when we have the talent in that room. We talk about BIA, we talk about Coach Walt and being so great and how loaded this room is, and then to not see Jermaine Matthews play a single snap. I don't know how much scheme oriented this was, and the personnel not out there executing. And I guess at some point it is on you to adjust. And like we saw the super chat earlier, you, after the second cookout, you have to protect him. And I agree. And like you said, the adjustments need to come in these bigger games before halftime. I want to ask both of you guys before we get to the next call about Jim Knowles in general. I saw someone say on the timeline, and I saw it in the chat, like Jim Knowles was brought here after having one of the most aggressive defenses at getting after the passer. And to see, I mean, Dylan Gabriel had so much time in the pocket yesterday. He could have fucking baked bread back there. Like, it was unbelievable how much time he had in the pocket. And to see them not get any pressure after that was Jim Knowles calling. And his other big thing was getting off the field on first down. And how many times did we see them execute on third and long? It felt like there was no chance for this defense to get off the field. What did you think about the lack of pressure there, Rex?
man, I don't understand how we got two senior defensive ends, bro, that cannot manipulate the game. Jim Knowles is not a mad scientist. Defensive coordinators are mad scientists. They dial up shit you can't see. Jim Knowles just don't do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, I don't get it, man. I mean, maybe it's the type of players we recruit, bro. They not dogs, man. You know what I'm saying? Dogs is dogs, man. Dogs show up in big games, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a time for JT to really put himself it was a draft pick game, bro. They draft stock probably went down after this game, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't get why JT and Jack is just like, they're mid, bro. They're not like what we're used to having at Ohio State, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Jack and I love JT some games, but I don't love them in big games. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't come through for us in big games, man. Did he even get sacked yesterday? 0 sacks, bro.
Unreal.
So you mean to tell me when they played those other teams and Dylan Gabriel was getting sacked, that those edge rushers are actually better than Jack and JT? No, they're not, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a hurtful feeling for people like us. We get up every day. You know, we got jobs, we got families. You know, we get up and we talk about this stuff every day, man. I'm not mad about the loss. Let me say this, bro. The loss, I'm looking at the loss like if I'm Oregon, I'm really scared. You know why? Because this team came into our house and only lost by 1. They were supposed to blow us out at home. So a 1-point loss is cool, but it's not, bro. It's like if I'm playing a team right now and they keep going over top, okay, I need safety. I need safety help over there. Get some safety help over there. He never did it, man. You know, and this game is on Jim Knowles, man. If you look at every big game we've been in, he give up 500 more yards or more, bro. We need to get rid of him, man. He too old. He too cocky. He too stubborn. He's not it, bro. You know, I mean, he's a good serviceable D coordinator, but he's not what we need at Ohio State, bro. Hell, we should have kept Kerry Combs. At least Kerry Combs created.
All right, not too much. Not too much.
On to the next one. On to the next one, bro. We appreciate you, Rex.
We appreciate you, Rex. We'll tap in with you all the time, bro.
Why didn't we run the ball in the second half that much? Why did we go away from it?
We talked about it, man.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, man. I was confused by the play calling. Trey running at 8 yards per carry and not receiving more than 10 or 11 touches. Inexcusable. The play calling.
What was the hey, we didn't run no screen plays for Trey, nothing.
It was weird, man. The running backs really haven't we saw Quinshon Judkins have his first 2 catches of the year. I believe Trey had 2 receptions for 4 yards. We tried to run that little shuffle pass to Brandon Ennis. They sniffed that right out. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show when we give Oregon their flowers, because they definitely deserve a segment where we acknowledge them. But we appreciate the call, Rex, and I'm sure we will tap in the spaces here
Mike,
shortly.
call me when you're done.
Appreciate
I got you.
Appreciate
I'll be going
you
to
pulling
church,
up.
so I'll probably call you after that.
Oh, we got another caller, and man, I don't even want to bring this motherfucker up. But
go ahead, man. What he got to say? What he gonna say?
Good morning, sir.
Yo, what it do?
Good morning. Good morning. For those not familiar, we have Johnny Olden Jr. from the chat, from YouTube, from the team. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, bro. I picked y'all to win. Now I did pick y'all to win.
It's your fault.
That's exactly what it is, man. Hey, Johnny,
y'all. I picked y'all to win. Y'all let me down. But this is the thing. The questions that I had for y'all before the season, they all my question marks. They all popped up in that game. The pass rush. How good really is that defense? And what else? Chip Kelly, the offense. Will y'all run the ball with conviction? Will y'all stay with it? And all of them failed. And I don't want to hear about Will Johnson and Denzel Burnt no more. That's a wrap.
Who was having those conversations?
The chatters. The chatters.
Well, you go talk to them.
You talk to them. You talk to them.
Okay.
I was ashamed of myself. I was getting sentimental selling my Will Johnson card on my college football ultimate team. Bro was going fucking crazy for me. I was like, man, I hate how much I like having this Wolverine on my team, because that card is crazy in the game. But no, I am a Will Johnson believer. I do think he is a very, very good player. I don't feel the same way I think 10 is a good player. I don't think he's as good as Will Johnson. I think we watched him have his worst game of his career, but I mean, inexcusable. When you watch that game, Johnny, before we get out of here, we're starting to get here a long line. We'll have to talk to you later in the week where we could talk longer, but as a team up north fan, were you impressed at all with this Ohio State team, or did you come away more disappointed than impressed from this performance, despite it being a close game? It feels like when Ohio State loses, it doesn't matter by how much. The sky is falling every time. And when an SEC team loses in a close battle, it's like 2 Titans clashing. Look at the peak of the sport.
It doesn't matter.
Watching that, I was somewhat disappointed. I thought y'all were gonna steamroll them. Honestly, I thought y'all were gonna steamroll them. And Will Howard showed some heart, but I think he might have a little bonehead in him, which sucks for y'all in the But hey, but he showed some heart, but he's got some of that oh shucks kind of. It's something bad. It seems like it's gonna happen to him. You know what I'm saying?
Like a dark cloud follows him, that it's inevitable at some point.
Some dudes have that for whatever reason. But he balled out, but it just seems like he doesn't. It didn't seem like he had control. Like, all right. Last question: how much time did y'all get the ball back when y'all went down to try to kick that field goal? How much time did y'all start with?
Yeah, like a minute and 51 or some shit like that.
And that's crazy. That's crazy that y'all didn't get in deep into their territory like that.
We were on the 30-yard line with 40 seconds and then got a penalty and knocked us out of field goal range. I asked you, were you surprised the Buckeyes didn't run the ball there on the 30-yard line? They had a 47-yard field goal at that, or 28-yard line, 47-yard field goal at that point, and they run a pass play and get pass interference and get knocked out of field goal range and never make it back in.
That's always surprising, but that's Ryan Day does that. He did it against Georgia 2 years ago. He
actually ran the ball against Georgia, and people complained because he only got a 50-yard field goal attempt, and you know how that field goal attempt went.
It was the drive before y'all last one. He could have killed the clock in, but that's what he does. He seems like I don't know, bro. Y'all still got faith in him? Tell me.
Do I still have faith in Ryan Day? I'm not.
Yeah.
I still feel like this team has the possibility to win a national championship. Do I think it's likely?
That's a fact.
No, but I'm not gonna. I've fired Ryan Day so many times on a microphone that I'm going to reserve that phrase until after the season, because I want to be able to jump around and celebrate at the parade, knowing that I didn't fire the coach before he won a national championship, at least this season. So I'm gonna stick by him until the end of the season. But yeah, man, it's hard to believe. I asked the question last night on the postgame show. I said, we didn't even play for a national championship with Justin Fields as our quarterback, Chase Young on the defense, and J.K. Dobbins running for 2,000 yards. If not then when? You know what I mean? So, I mean, you see that loss last night. You have a $20 million roster. You have a crazy coaching staff, and you still don't get it done. You do start to lose hope.
Like I said from the beginning, man, I know a lot of people was on the Natty Air bus train, and I said, hey, the players saying it, so that's what they got to stand on. But I just felt like the way our offense was going to be this year, not being able to stress defenses vertically and all over the field, just like Will Howard, like the one throw that was short to Jeremiah, that was a standard Ryan Day throw that Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, CJ Stroud would make over and over and over, right? And we just didn't have that quarterback. And I just felt like that's why I said this isn't Natty or bust. I think it was beat the team up north, win a Big Ten championship, and have a nice little college football playoff run. But I think that there are things to be happy in his roster going forward, especially next year. It's like, and I see people in the chat and stuff.
Next year.
I mean, bro, I said this from the preseason, bro. Why don't y'all listen to me, bro?
Next year. Ron,
Johnny, I'm not there. That is Mike's
we don't have that type of quarterback.
Mike's on.
Somebody said next year.
Bro, we don't have that quarterback. I'm still ready to talk about this year. We appreciate the call, Johnny. I'm sure we will talk to you later this week on
yes, sir.
Buckeye Roast. We appreciate you calling in. Check out our guy, Johnny Olden Jr. Oh my God, Johnny Olden Jr. If you're into that kind of stuff on YouTube, go blue. Ugh. Disgusting.
Yes.
If you want to check out Johnny Olden Jr. on YouTube, we appreciate the call. We got to get to our guy Seth next, man. He's been waiting. We appreciate it
patiently.
Shout out to our guy Seth. Seth, how's it going?
Last night I was really fucking fired up, cussing off the world and whatnot. But after sleeping on it, I'm really not that disappointed. One, Saban said this week on College Game Day that he texted Kirby after the loss to Alabama, said this could be the best thing that could ever happen to you for this season. I think in large parts Knowles approached this game in the wrong way, and if you keep winning, and we've seen it in the Ryan Day era, you keep winning and kind of things get glossed over. I do believe we're going to see them again in Indy, and I don't think they're going to approach that game in the same way. And
I think we lost for a second there.
Oh, can you hear me?
I hear.
Okay.
I can hear you. I think we lost you there for a second. It felt like you were saying it feels like Ryan Day's mistakes get glossed over a bit. And I do feel like he does get the benefit of the doubt, especially with all of the recruiting that we see, from
that
we see from him. Okay, go ahead. Let me finish. Let me let you finish.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
When you keep winning, a lot of times, things that are glaring that we see in wins don't get addressed. And I think a loss like this makes you look in the mirror. I think the way that we approached that game was wrong on the defensive side. I think the offense, they performed phenomenally in a terrible environment. We had 8 penalties to Oregon's 3. And yet it's still a 1-point game where you have a shot to win at the end. And then also you look around the country, and I kind of feel better as well. You look, Oregon, really good. Texas, really good. Ohio State, really good. Guess what? Bama, ass. Tennessee, ass. Georgia, ass. They let up 31 to Mississippi State, who's literally a doormat. I mean, I feel good coming out of this because that was a crazy environment. And you know what? It's a 1-point game. You had a shot at the end. And I think this gives them an opportunity to really look in the mirror, address, how they went about the game defensively. And then, also, I think the other part of the conversation defensively is I think this is the season that the Larry Johnson, Jim Knowles thing comes to a head. I think Larry Johnson's done. They obviously don't work well together, and it's causing an effect on the team.
Absolutely. Shout out to our guy Seth, bringing the absolute fire here on the line. We got a super chat we want to get to while you're on the line, and we'll have you answer with us before we get you out of here. Thomas Ridley with the 2. Thanks for the 2. Touchy-feely Knowles, afraid to hurt Burke's feelings and put in Jermaine Matthews. What did you think about the decision not to bring in Jermaine Matthews? He played 0 snaps in this game. How did you feel about that?
I think we are on the brink of, if we don't bring him in some capacity, that he will be playing for another team next year.
We saw his buddy from high school, Cam Calhoun, tweet out the picture of them together at Winton Woods and said, "Let's make it happen." Those not familiar, Cam Calhoun, a cornerback from Winton Woods at Michigan, and then transferred to Utah. I would love to see them play together again, but hopefully it's for the Buckeyes and not for the Utes or another team. We appreciate you calling in, Seth. Great content, man. You were cooking.
Yeah, and just to add to the final point, I mean, everything is still in front of this team. It's all there. The season is not done. I don't think the fire Ryan Day takes, or I don't think those are placed correctly. I think this team could still keep going. Everyone else in the country is a mess. And guess what? You lost a 1-point game on the road, and you shot yourself in the foot multiple times over and over again, and you still had a chance to win.
If the Buckeyes take care of business, man, they will see this team again, but they got to go ahead and take care of business.
Agreed.
Yep.
Appreciate the call, Seth. Absolutely cooking. Appreciate you tuning in and appreciate the support. Go Bucks.
Yep. Thanks.
We got another caller to get to, man. The phone lines are absolutely jumping. Our guy Mason, appreciate you calling in. Mason on the line. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
So speaking on that Jermaine Matthews thing, did you guys see his tweet?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. We've seen all of his tweets and Instagram stories and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that one had me a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I just, from Noel's perspective, I don't see why. I mean, you watch Burt get beat 3 times in a row. I don't see why you don't try to make a change or at least take him out for a play or something. Ask him what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same route, just a straight deep route, and he was just getting burnt.
Absolutely. It felt like at some point you got to pull him to the side and ask him like, "Hey, are you okay?" Or Coach Walden, like you have to see at what point do you feel like is his confidence shattered? Is it better to just let him sit for the moment and let someone else get in there and maybe even just like, hey, pull him off the field and put Jermaine in there and talk him up. Give him confidence. Let him hear that you believe in him and you like it's gonna be okay. Want something like that. The fact that at no point he came off the field was confounding to me.
Yeah, I know, because there was one drive they had, and it was like 2 or 3 plays, like they just kept targeting him. At that point, I mean, that's when you're specifically getting targeted on defense. That's a pretty big hit to your confidence. You got to have a coach pull you out and say something to you at least. But as far as the fire Ryan Day, yeah, I'm still with Ryan Day because honestly, who are we going to get that's better right now at this current moment? I just think minus the Clemson and the Georgia game, when we get to these big games, I'm tired of the screen passes. You know,
I'm right there with you.
I'm tired of the short runs up the middle. Yeah, I don't know. Something needs to be figured out with the big games. We play these little schools and we take the ball, we throw it over them in the middle of the field, but then we get to these big games and it's like we just completely abandon what's worked all season.
Speaking of the middle of the field, do you feel like we attacked the middle of the field enough, Mason?
No, not at all. I mean, you saw what Boise State did. They were getting, crosser routes in the middle. They were running it outside and bouncing it back in, and they were having huge success. And we just kept continuing to target the sidelines. And obviously it wasn't working. And it was like, well, switch it up. But they just kept doing the same thing.
G. Scott 3 catches for 45 yards. Were you guys surprised by his performance yesterday?
No, man. I mean, I thought that this was a game for like you want to have some guys going up the middle, man. I thought that this was a mismatch for this team, and I thought it was either going to be like a Carnell Tate or G. Scott, having a breakout game, and I think we could have saw more of G. Scott, and I also think that there was chances where we could have saw more of Jelani, especially with his body frame. Like you could just throw it up to him in the middle and he can come down with that. Like I have no idea why we didn't try that, but appreciate you, Mason, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. We appreciate the call. Did you have any other questions before we move to the next caller?
No, I mean, I think that's about it. I like Seth said that, Saban texted Kirby. I commented, we can see what we have with this team. I mean, they can either lay over or they can light a fire under their ass and then keep going.
Facts.
Absolutely.
I think some defense definitely needs to be adjusted in practice, talked about, and I think they need to abandon the screen passes. I'm tired of it. It was a huge problem the last 2-3 years. I'm done seeing the screen passes. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked.
That's a staple of our offense right now. Absolutely. With the quarterback, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's the quarterback's check at the line of scrimmage. Those screens, a lot of those are them checking into those at the line of scrimmage. A lot of the times we saw those screens. It was because of the keys that the quarterbacks have, and CJ would check into those a lot. But I'm right there with you. I hate it too. We appreciate the call, Mason. We got a super chat to get to before our next caller. Shout out to Mike Green. Thanks for the 2. Forget Jim Knowles and his coffee. Bro, I don't know what's going on with Jim Knowles. It feels like we're going into the dark days of people fighting with his sister on the timeline when we should be talking shit to other fan bases. It's a dark time. we need a prayer, and that's why we got the Reverend here with us. Mike, you're going to church after this show, but I figured we'd bring the church to Buckeye Nation, and we have our guy, Reverend Buckeye. Rev, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Long time.
I know, long time no speak. How you been doing? Before we talk about the Buckeyes ruining our Saturday, you been good? I think we lost Rev. You there?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing good, man. You know, just taking care of family. I know what all I got on my plate regarding my son. So
absolutely,
you know, I'm just taking care of family. But you know, as far as Buckeyes, you know, I'm always paying attention, though. You know.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
It's to me, it's like you same story every time. Whenever you think like, okay, this the time we're going to just dominate and break out and show our potential, the same things happen over and over again, like for the last couple of years. I think sometimes it hurts worse to get beat like this. Sometimes like you feel better getting blown out because you be like, at least the better team won, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, but to lose games like this and fans sleeping at night thinking about what could have happened, like that's what Ohio State fans do after this game. We think for months on one little thing that could have happened different for a win, you know.
Absolutely. And it feels like we're losing in heartbreaking fashion every time. And even in these big losses, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like the losses to Clemson, the losses to Georgia, the losses to the team up north. None of those games, aside for maybe 21 against Michigan, did it feel like the better team won. It felt like the Buckeyes were right there, had the talent, had the ability to go and get the win. And you hit the nail on the head when you said it hurts more as a Buckeye fan, because it's not like, oh man, our team stinks, we deserve to lose. It's like, man, we're right there. Why can't we get this done? I saw a meme on the timeline. It was 4 different Buckeyes on the field with their hands with their head in their hands, just completely dejected after the loss. And it feels like those type of pictures just continue to pile up and pile up.
God,
yeah,
man.
And I feel like sometimes we more focus on not making mistakes when we play in big games. It's like we want to just play mistake-free football, and then we want to just like we have no type of trickery or anything that we throw at other teams. It's like we just trying to just take people's best shots. Like we don't bring our best shots to other teams. It's like we trying to take their best shot and just play regular football.
Do you think that because I know we've talked about this on this Best Damn Media platform, do you feel like in 2022 when Jim Knowles got here, like we saw what his defense was, we saw how attacking, how much pressure we put on quarterbacks and stuff, I kind of felt like we just didn't have the guys on the back end. Do you feel like there was an overcorrection the 2023 year and now from that defense?
Well, I think, and you said 2023 meaning last year defense?
Yeah, like because 2022 defense, we would see our linebackers attacking, getting in the backfield, getting pressures and stuff like that. Now they're like they already had their design, what they were doing, and they were able to fly to the ball fast. Now you're asking them, since we have switched from 2022, we have been seeing our linebackers having to read and react a lot more. And like I remember Ryan Day saying, like, we have the athletes, allow them to be athletes, but we're not allowing them to be because they're not able to play fast. They're having to read and react too much.
Yeah, and I talk about that. That's basically playing assigned football where you know where you're going before the snap, where you're not just out there trying to find where the ball going first and running to the ball. You playing that zero man like in 2022. He actually, that was a real aggressive defense, but he didn't have the personnel to run that defense.
Fact.
He actually has and another thing is like when we play in big games, it's kind of like we don't even go into our depth. Like we want to just keep starters out there on the field at all times. Like we have, like even the other teams that we play, you see them sub in and you bring in players for special assignments, but it's like we tighten up so much that only these guys going to play period, and we don't even use our depth and just try to just open up the whole defense, open up the whole offense to our full potential. And it's like we only good for things that we expect. It's the unexpected things that get thrown at us that we're never prepared for. And so to me, Jim knows his in-game adjustments are terrible because when you get beat one time, you don't let that happen again. That's the difference between an elite defense and a regular defense is when you can beat me one time, but after that, it's not going to happen again. You know, and two, you're not getting pressure from your starting defensive ends. So you have to have a game plan for that. Okay, our ends is not getting pressure. Let's start dialing up some, blitzes from the outside. Let's bring in CJ Hicks. That's his specialty, getting to the quarterback. Let's drop JTT in coverage. Let him smother a running back or something. But let's bring some pressure somewhere else to get pressure on that quarterback. Like those the adjustments that Jim knows have to make in the defense. Like just not like we're going to stick with this game plan and we go fight through it until we get it. Like that's how you lose the game,
Yeah, our guys. Go ahead, Mike.
I think Sonny and CJ Hicks are Jack/Leos, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, I mean, you see people talking about Jim Knowles and Larry Johnson, and it's like, Jack Sawyer was non-existent, right? Why don't we have use the Jack and Leo right there, like something, because I know you saying drop JTT back in the coverage, but I mean, to be honest, we kind of seen that already this year, and I didn't like it. I would like it to be a CJ Hicks or Sonny Styles, because I felt like their bodies are built in that Jack role already, and yeah. But I think you're spot on, Rev. You spot on, brother.
Yeah. I mean, just a little more creativity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like Oregon knew when to call the right plays at the right time. And Oregon made mistakes that game, but the difference between them and us, they was more aggressive. Like, they're going to take their shots downfield regardless of how the game go, and it helped them out at the end. The offside kick, I promise we don't show no type of trickery. We don't try to do any type of thing to where it felt like Oregon was lost out there. It's like we gonna try to overpower you and just play physical and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta have stuff up your sleeve just for okay, we need to play right now to score on. Like we need to have something to where in big games to where, the defense is confused where they ain't expecting things. It seemed like, and another thing we talk about fight, like just fight and just going out there giving it your best. And I think that mindset, I don't know about that now. Like it's something Ohio State. I can't I'm trying to figure it out, but it's just something that's holding us back in these big games, man. And I think it's a mental thing too, man.
Word on the street is the body language on the defense was kind of like how the offense was in the Mizzou game. Go ahead,
yeah, man. Yeah, reports from the stadium, body language from that defense, not great. Red, before we get you out of here, we want to ask you something that Seth and Mason both hit on. They both talked about the entire season still being in front of us. All of our goals are still ahead of us. We still have an opportunity to win the Big Ten. We still have an opportunity to beat the team up north, and we still have an opportunity to win a national championship. How confident are you in this Buckeye team being able to correct the things that we discussed today and overcome these hurdles, these big game blunders, the big game jitters, and just see this team level up and be the juggernaut that we thought it was before the season? Do you think that they will be able to right the ship and still compete for all of our goals this year?
Oh yeah. I mean, we still in the thick of things, and I'm just hoping that this loss makes everybody just sit down and just think about it, because at the end of the day, if Ohio State don't beat themselves, they have a great chance of winning every game and possibly winning a national championship. But that's on them to decide that, okay, from now on, we're going to use our depth. We're going to make the adjustments, and we're going to play more free and open up the offense and be more aggressive on defense and adjust to in-game situations better. And they can do that. It ain't like we ain't capable of doing the things that we want to do. It ain't like we don't have the personnel to do the things that we want to do. It's just more about beating ourselves, like outthinking ourselves. And when the team, and that goes for the players too, like they have to be aware of situational football better. When they on the field, they got to understand that I can't let this player get behind me no matter what. They got to, even Will Howard on offense, he got to understand the time clock. Like, those things are fixable. So the season ahead is definitely, like, to me, it's a lot on film after this loss that they can take in and say, okay, we can fix these problems right here. And if they do fix them problems, I think it just, it makes it more easy for them going forward in big games. Like, to me, I think we respect our opponent a little too much. Like, we kind of like, everything's get tight when we play Oregon and stuff. Like when Ryan Day said we gonna find a way to win in the fourth quarter, that, to me, that shouldn't even be the mentality. The mentality is we're gonna punish this team and we're gonna dominate this team, not just finding a way to win fourth quarter, because you don't even want to think, the players to think that is going to be a fourth quarter game. You just want to go out there and handle your business and dominate, period,
Absolutely. We appreciate you calling in. Our guy Rev is absolutely preaching. Can we get an amen in the chat? It's good to talk to you, man. We haven't talked in a while, and we got to do these call-in shows more often so we get a chance to connect. We really appreciate you tapping in, Rev.
All right, brother. No problem. It's good seeing y'all again, too.
Appreciate it. It's good seeing you too, bro. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Before we get to this last caller, I want everybody in the chat to take a deep breath before we bring this mofo up here. I see people in the chat talking. Yeah, I see people in the chat talking about the Josh Simmons injury. I mean, we have plenty to talk about this week. I mean, we have the Buckeye roast Monday through Friday with me and Q at 8 a.m. Mike and Terry will be live on Wednesday at 7:30 for the Fans Edge. So we're going to get in. We're going to have plenty to deep dive into this game. We wanted to talk to the people and get a feel of what everyone is saying after this game and really let everybody's voices be heard. I mean, we do plenty of complaining on the platform. We have plenty of shows to discuss and break down this game. We wanted to give an opportunity for the people to tell us how they're feeling after this game, and we appreciate everyone that called in. Our callers have been absolutely killing it. We have 621 people watching. If you like what you're seeing and you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We do content here on this channel 7 days a week. We have plenty of Buckeye shows, national shows, all of that good stuff. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you retweet it. If you see this on Twitter later in the day, go ahead and throw a retweet on it if you're already watching. We appreciate all of the support. Big shout out to Posh and Emily, always showing us love on the timeline. But I knew it was inevitable. We weren't going to get all good calls. Johnny O was very respectable from the team up north and didn't troll too hard. But I don't think this person is going to take it easy on us.
Hell nah.
Gmo, how are you doing this fine Sunday morning?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. How you guys are doing, man? All is well? I'm checking on your mental health.
Oh, it's good, man. It's still a blessed Sunday, man. I'm still.
I root for two loser football teams. We have another team that's ready to ruin our day, Gmo. We're on to the next one.
Chill, Ryan. God damn, Ryan. Shit.
I used Kyle McCord as a scapegoat last year, right? And I was thinking about this.
Did we wait before you even continue? But did we lose this game because of Will Howard?
No. But hear me out, fellas. I'm not arguing that part of it. I think Will Howard is still average. I know if you look at his stat line, it looks like he did well. But I wasn't impressed with Will Howard. But with that being said, y'all use Cal McCord as an scapegoat. He goes 11-1. So Will Howard, it only could match that record or be worse than that record. What's the issue, fellas?
The issue was the defense giving up 32 fucking points, bro.
Gimo, you've been in here for the entire show. We've been going for 69 minutes now, and you have not.
What's the issue? Denzel Bradbury, motherfucker.
I want to ask, what is an scapegoat?
If you take away Denzel Bradbury, guess what? They get fucking 14 goddamn points, bro. It would have been 18 points.
So, Mike, we both can say, in my honest opinion, it was never Cal McCord. It was Jim No fraud ass.
Oh, nah, bro. They ain't scored. Who scored 30 on us last year?
Stop that.
Who put up 32 points on us last year?
Cal McCord was responsible for turnovers and
what I'm saying
I
always knew that your shit was a fraud.
That who?
So Miami's going undefeated this year? Our teams are frauds?
Man, it seems like.
Would your team beat ours in the playoffs? Would your team beat ours in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes, for sure. For sure. Y'all don't have a D-line. Your best D-lineman, in my honest opinion, is Williams and Curry. It's not your two 5-star DNs. It's William and Curry. So
you have one person on your defense that knows how to tackle. One.
But I've also seen your defense. I've also seen your defensive line too.
One, bro. I promise you.
Hey, Mike.
I've seen your defensive line too.
My defense. These guys want to play.
No, your defense would
get play hero ball.
I seen your defensive line get pushed back.
You guys would get abused by.
Don't lie, Demo. Don't lie.
You guys better watch your tone when you talk to Key in the space, because if you guys play Oregon, man, I promise you, they will embarrass y'all.
Embarrass y'all. Ron and Mike, all summer, you guys say Oregon's coming into the Big Ten. They can't come into the our trap. They can't come into the Big Ten thinking they're going to run.
Where did we say this? We didn't run spaces during the summer and didn't do any shows. So where were we saying this, GMO?
I mean, I was in spaces, but let's be honest.
Mike?
No, let's be honest. What is the one game that I said that Ohio State could lose? And I said this all summer long. What was the one game?
Hold on, but Mike.
No, because see, you tried to troll there, and then you got caught in your lie. I also said, who's the one team that I said was actually built to actually come and compete in the Big Ten? Who's the one team, Gmo?
Y'all can lose to Indiana.
I said Oregon. Okay, all right. See, Gmo, see, this what happened when your trolls don't hit, Gmo.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm expecting Ohio State just lost, man. Bro, send better shooters, bro. Where is 50 at, bro? Where's 50?
Yeah.
Where's Juju? Where's Big Homie? Send better shooters, Gmo. Here, we're gonna drop you down, and we're gonna bring you back, bro. No, take a deep breath, Gmo. Gather your material. We're gonna drop you and bring you back. Gmo's taking a deep breath. He came with these weak trolls. We expected him to come with some heat, so we're gonna try this again. He said GMO voice belong in a teenager's body. All right, we got our guy GMO on the line here. We gave him a second to compose himself. Please tell me you have better trolls.
Ron, what you always say? I think it was Urban Myers that says, if you're 5-0, the good thing that you could go what? And when you're
the best thing about being 5-0 is the chance to go 6-0.
All right, so
we wouldn't
the best
know.
thing to go 5-1.
The chance to go 6-1, I guess, or we're 4-1 now. So the best chance about being 4-1 would be the chance to go 5.
Yeah. Denzel Bradbury failed that game, bro. I'm not.
We've been bowl eligible for the past 2 weeks.
So are you going to beat us? All right. So you didn't bring the funny trolls today. Before we get you out of here, are you timestamp this? We're at 14:12, hour and 14:12 in this episode.
For sure.
You guys are going to beat Ohio State or Oregon if you see either one of them in the playoffs?
Barring any injuries, and we stay
No.
Nigga, you lost our injuries, man. We lost our starting left tackle. I'm not hearing
that. Barring injuries. But Ron, this is the crazy part about it. I think Oregon, y'all say y'all lost by 1 point. but Oregon gave up points. They was in the red zone.
Ohio State gave up points.
Right?
We turned the ball over
We both gave up points. So what's your point?
But what I'm saying to you, they did that without their best defensive line.
We did that without our
we lost. They play off.
We did that without our best tackle.
I mean, exactly. We both lost our best trench guys. And we lost by 1 point. I mean, that's what you just saying. We both lost our best trench guys, right? The game is won in the trenches. We both lost our trench guys. Ohio State lost by 1. Here's the thing, G-Mo. If you lose, you better lose by a damn 0.5. You better not even lose by fucking 1.
So you guys are winning. Before we get out of here, G-Mo, because I'm gonna go sink away my sorrows in fried food and video games the rest of the day. I just want to get this on the record before we get out of here. You guys are going to win the ACC.
That's the game plan.
Get this, I hope so.
Confident.
Get this, I hope so ass nigga out of here, bro. I thought he was going to get in here and be confident. I didn't know that we had Kodak Black on the line. G-Mo, we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate you donating your Ohio State season tickets to the platform for us to give away. I see our guy Dylan in the chat. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to G-Mo for always supporting us. We appreciate you calling in. Make sure if you guys want to hear propaganda about an overrated 6-0 team or 5-0, whatever the hell their record is, check out Category 6 Podcast. 50 and Big Homie do great work over there. I wish they would have sent their better shooters in 50 and Big Homie, but G-Mo brought the lackluster trolls. We appreciate you joining us, G-Mo.
Hey, thank you guys. A great show today, man. Great show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Go
you,
Bucks, OH, fuck the Canes and the Cowboys, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, man, we appreciate everybody calling in, man. Amazing calls. It was great to talk to everybody. We definitely have to do that more often. I hate that we have to do a show like that after a loss and we're not talking to everybody about how exciting it was to see our Buckeyes finally get it done on the big stage. I mean, one more time before we get out of here, there's almost 700 people watching. If you are watching on Twitter, make sure you throw a like and retweet on that video. If you're in the Buckeyes community at any point today and you see it pinned to the top of the community, go ahead and throw a retweet on that video. It costs you absolutely nothing. We appreciate all the support. Big shout out to our members, Posh and Charles Green. Shout out to all of our super chats. It doesn't save the complete log in here anymore, but Mike Green, all of the super chats, man. We appreciate all of you. There's so many of you guys. Mike, we're gonna have plenty to talk about. We're gonna be all over the timeline this week. We will not be hiding. We won't be hard to find. You can catch us absolutely everywhere. Mike, let the people know where they can find you this week.
You can find me on Twitter right here at 216_wildboy or the X app. I'll be standing in the paint all week long. And, you can catch me Wednesday right here on this platform, The Fans Edge. We go live at 7:30 Eastern time. And then every post game, after every Ohio State game, whether we win, lose, or draw, we will be on the Voice of College Football, Mark Rogers, Ohio State channel. So make sure you're checking us out there. Oh, and Ryan. Thursday, I'm a regular now on Buckeye Roast on Thursday, so definitely make sure you're tuning in to Buckeye Roast Monday through Friday.
Absolutely. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TES. You can find me weekdays on the Buckeye Roast Monday through Friday with my guy Q at 8 a.m. You can see Mike on the show on Wednesdays. We have Terry Tuesdays with our guy Terry that called in earlier. Also, be sure to check out The Fans Edge with Mike and Terry on Wednesdays. You can catch me Saturdays on the best damn college pregame show on the Menace to Sports platform with Chris Drew. You can catch me post games on the Juck on Bucks post game, also on the Menace to Sports platform here on Sundays for the flagship Buck IBS. You can see me probably not that often in spaces this week because goddamn, the Buckeyes are killing me, man. They're killing me. I'm hurt. I'm hurt, dog. As Ed Reed once said, I am probably not going to watch the NFL today. Mike, are you watching the Steelers?
We'll see, man. I think so. I'll probably still do it, man. You know, I'm about to go to church, you know, get my spirit cleansed, you know, get revitalized, get some positivity back in me, man.
Say a prayer for my blood pressure while you're there.
Hey, I'm going to do that, man. I'm going to do that, man. And, you know, like Kirby Smart told his team in the locker room, man, he told them you have two ways to respond, man. You know what I'm saying? You can man up, nut up, drop your nuts, and be better, or you could be a coward, man. I'm gonna go to church and pray that we don't be cowards.
Yeah. Also, pray for my pack luck. I'm gonna go rip packs on College Football Ultimate Team because my Buckeyes let me down. Hopefully, my Ultimate Team does not let me down today. Hall of Fame Twitter coach, number 17 team in my dynasty. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in, and you know how this ends, Mike. Go Bucks and OH.
Ayo.